tips for new agents in the Division. Also, the hosts make their predictions about the future of Destiny. All this and more on today's episode of Uprising News. Hello and welcome to Uprising News, the show where we share the latest clan news from Uprising Family Gaming. So we're going to take a second and introduce our fire team of anchors. I am Big D112358. And with me again is Caucajun Saint. Say hi, Cajun.
Hi, Big D.
We've also got Mitch Windoo with us here. What's up, Mitch?
Hello, boyos.
And also with us today, we've got two new members of our hosting fire team. First off, we have the Dozerhaus.
Hey, Big D.
How you doing? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role with the clan?
Well, my role with the clan is as an Aegis, is to lead the raid, fire teams, kindergartens, people that haven't gone through the raids. Mostly PvE. I suck at PvP, so I welcome that role in PvE. And I'm also the ambassador of the sex here for the clan.
Thanks for that.
We just towed that PG-13 line.
No problem. I'll be here all night.
Also with us, we have Damian Nash, who's joining us for the first time as well. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role?
Hey, brother. So I'm with the emissaries of the clan, and basically what that is I kind of go out there and make the connections. I guess you'd kind of say I'm like the community liaison. I'm out there talking with all the different clans, the podcasts, things like that, trying to just keep things moving behind the scenes, and basically keeping us in touch with groups that we can utilize when it comes down to doing charity streams, or they're doing charity streams, and we can jump in and we can help out, just keep us plugged into the community. Also, really big in with the Division at the moment, so
on to our first story of the night. The Division launch has taken the gaming world by storm. Let's go to New York, where our field correspondent, Damian Nash, has some tips for new agents. Damian?
Thank you, Big D. A lot of things are coming up here in the Division, one of which is this place where I'm standing right now. It's the new location of the Division's version of a raid called an incursion. Pretty soon here I'll pull up the map and I'll show you the location exactly where it's at. Also this week, the Division just came out with its first loot cave that's now since been patched. Hopefully a lot of you clanmates have had a chance to get in there and get some of that nice Phoenix credits. Here you'll notice the location says incursion. That'll be coming out this April. Some of you all might be wondering where you guys can get some easy loot, clothing-wise and whatnot. First through things you want to unlock in the security section for that. It's going to be your supply line, which is for 400 supply credits. And then you'll have something that's called the procurement team, which will unlock a scavenger area that will fill you up with an item every 12 hours of clothing. I'll have you come up here soon, and I'll show you where those are located at. Also, if you're looking for a lot of loot drops, you didn't make it to that loot cave, there's a skill set that you can actually try to add to your equipment, or find equipment that uses it, and that's your scavenger skill. When you go hit start, go to your character, you can actually scroll down, you can see your scavenger skill rate. Mine is actually only at 15%, but you get it up over 100%, and you're going to see a lot more high-end drops, especially that in the Dark Zone. As you can see, I got a clothing item there. That will replenish in another 12 hours. Now back here is the end of the supply line. You'll go over here, you can get your camouflage of the day. Usually a jacket, a pair of pants, or a scarf, something along those lines. Now this was something a lot of people got caught up on. They would run up to the rope, wait for someone else to go down it, and then go down one single rope. All you have to do is run up and you actually press and hold X. You drop that weighted bag, and then you can jet down the rope. As so. Now enemies in the Division, many of them have key weak points. Just like a Zelda game, you gotta just kinda take down the armor to get to it. Cleaners are one of the easiest to notice because they have tanks you can aim for. You'll see here, I still wind up taking the guy out, but he'll go flying up here in a second. Now with this one, this is a different kind of guy. He's got a bunch of ammunition on his back. Now when you shoot him, you have to take cover because the bullets can hit you and will damage you. But likewise, they'll damage everybody else in the area as well. 4th of July, anyone? One of the best ways to damage, do high damage, is to either use a designated marksman rifle, so DMR, or a sniper rifle. Unlike some games, this one, sniper rifle can take out, you get 3 headshots, like, boom boom. I'll display that here in a moment.
You're never gonna hear this. It's gonna live on an NSA server somewhere in Nevada, like the nuclear waste they bury.
This actually shows how devastating the Seeker napalm mine can be.
God. The cockroaches will rule the earth. Good fucking riddance.
Now coming up here, I'll show what my DMR can do. God, love that sound. Back to you, Big D, but before that, let's blow something up.
So I've been spending most of my time in the Division lately since it dropped, and just hit level 30 this weekend. Some additional tips I've seen and experienced in the Division, with the main one being that secondary stats matter a lot. So don't delete anything with low armor or base DPS like I did early on if it has perks that work with your build. Even adjust your stats so you proc the perks on your weapons. Like say you need like something with 1400 firearms and electronics to get a really good perk to proc on a gun. Well, get those two to that level by messing with your mods and your gear, so you get those stats above the threshold so you proc so you can get the most out of the DPS. So for high DPS and tanky builds, this was straight out of MTash's video, so other builds might work, but this is straight out of his, and he was rocking like 185,000 DPS on his primary with this setup right here. So do high on your firearm rolls, like 2 to 3,000. Above 2,000 easy, but if you can get above 3,000 is really good. On your muzzle, go for critical hit damage percentage. On your scope, headshot damage and critical hit chance. On your magazine, go with magazine size, and you can either do rate of fire or critical hit damage as the second perk on your magazine. On your backpack, do critical hit damage. On your gloves, critical hit chance and critical damage. And have your weapon of choice, say if it's a SMG or an auto rifle, have that as the damage increase on your gloves. So gloves are probably the most important because have all three of the same one. Knee pads, you want critical hit damage. On mask, critical hit chance. On armor, You want increased armor and damage to elites because the previous perks I mentioned, criticals and such, don't exist on armor. For skills, Pulse with Tactical Scanner is one you really would want for an increased tankiness build. And then your other two, you can either go with First Aid with Booster Shot or Smart Cover with Recharger, depending how you play. And for your signature skill, go with Survivor Link, and that's really tankiness because it does a like 80% damage reduction increase. It's really, really, really strong. And for your talents, the 4 talents for that build would be On the Move, One is None, Combat Medic, and Critical Save. So if you hit 30 in the main level, that's what you probably want to do first before going into the Dark Zone. Because I went from 0 to level 22 in the Dark Zone just from one night of farming DZ01 route that I had posted in Slack. So instead of trying to do both at the same time, get to 30 first. Your best drops are in the Dark Zone, then you can go farm in there and get some good drops. If you need gear, farm for the gear. People will be constantly finding new farming methods in these early days of the Division coming out. So join all the Division channels in Slack so you can be made aware when a new method is found. Now, although I've not tried it yet, Dado posted a video on smart cover stacking. If one person uses smart cover, it's great, but if 4 people use it, all those benefits stack on top of each other. And a fire team of 4 can easily handle challenge mode if 4 run smart cover, stay close enough behind the same cover, and just basically duck behind cover, jump up, do your shooting, and enemies melt, and your damage reduction is really to yourself is really, really weak. Like, you can tank a lot of stuff with the 4 smart covers going at once. And that's it for my tips on the Division.
Great, well, thanks for that. And now it's time for our next segment. It's time for Wild Speculation. 3, 2, 1, we have no idea what we're talking about. It's Wild Speculation.
Yeah. Well, this week, Bungie announced a general overview of the contents of the big April update coming to Destiny. What a better time to introduce a new segment we like to call Wild Speculation, where we make baseless predictions about what we think is coming in future Destiny updates. Start off with Cajun. Cajun, what do you think is going to be coming up here? What's your wild speculation?
I have a couple of small ones. Well, one, I think there's going to be new versions of the Year 2 weapons. I don't think they're going to come out with entirely a whole new weapon setup, but they're going to have higher levels, and that's going to leave some of the older versions behind with the lower damage stats. King's Fall Raid will probably remain static in my wild speculation, so hard mode and challenge modes are going to be easier once we get the higher level and weapons. And my last one, I think we're going to get 4 programmable emote slots, because they want to sell emotes, and it's best if we can have 4 instead of just 1 programmed in. And I should just stop there, because like my March Madness bracket, it was good in round 1, but it was terrible after that.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. Big D, what do you think? What's your wild speculation?
Well, I have a prediction for the PvE challenges coming in the April update. I think Bungie is going to release updated versions of the Vault of Glass and Crota Zen raids. I think they will make 2 significant changes. First, they're going to add a 3rd difficulty level. Normal, hard, and now heroic. And the new heroic difficulty will be at the new light level cap. I also think that in heroic difficulty, we'll get Year 2 legendary and exotic drops at or near the new light level cap. So the second part of my prediction is the addition of challenge mode for Vault of Glass and for Crota's End. And the new reward for challenge mode, Year 2 raid weapons.
Ugh.
Imagine a Year 2 Fatebringer or a Year 2 Word of Crota. I would just drop the mic right there.
I do miss my Fatebringer. I do miss my Thorn as well. Mitch, what do you think? What do you think what are your wild speculations?
Honestly, the main thing that I'm wanting out of this patch update is a private lobbies in PvP. Myself and William Strange have been doing the hard work of retrying the matchmaking until we get 2 fire teams matched up. At that point, cycling people in and out is easy, but it takes a good half hour to get into the action. Beyond that, I'm hoping for a more exotic, something that does more than grant an item in the subclass tree. Something more like the Takenut Helm that gives you a perk that you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I get you there. Well, I mean, along with your guys' speculations, Vaulted Glass and Crota's End changes, I think they're going to do something with Prison of Elders. I really think that they're going to add challenge modes to that Skolas. I hate to even say his name, but it's such a pain. But we really shouldn't say his name on this, but we just spent so many hours just trying to beat him, and I truly felt like that was a great addition, adding a challenge to PvE. But then, taking King came out, we all leveled, and now we can beat him with our swords by themselves. We can even solo. I've heard of some solos going on, so I'm looking for some changes there. And along with that, I think that they're going to bring back two of my favorite weapons: Queenbreaker's bow, which is that fusion sniper, which is basically a line rifle, and the Lord of Wolf shotgun pulse rifle thingy. I thought those were just fun to use. Along with that, I think they're going to bring back some events like the racing and more PvP events like the Crimson Doubles that we just came out of. I thought those were both very fun, and added a little bit of content to a content-starved fan base. So those are my wild speculations.
Great. Well, finally, we want to take a minute and welcome some more new members to Uprising Dads. So, Mitch, why don't you take this away?
Alright, Big D. So, we got two new members in Uprising Dads, Proximo 102 and Boondock Saint 82. And got a couple new members in Uprising Rogues as well. Slick Nick 08, The Lazy Shade, Informed Orb, Miss D Manor, and
I think it's Misdemeanor.
Oh.
And so that's going to about wrap things up for our third episode of Uprising News. Once again, I am Big D 112358. So on behalf of Mitch Windoo, Caucajun Saint, the Dozerhaus, Damian Nash, and this Blueberry, what was his name? Deadpool fan, who is desperately trying to get somebody to play video games with him. We are Uprising Family Gaming, and we'll see you next time.
I'll see you street side, agents.
Bye.
Holler at me in the Dark Zone, boys.
Watch your back in the supply drops.